Hi, this is Tim Campsell with TBC Action Coach of Indiana with our Survive and Thrive Business Spotlight series. The purpose is to interview local business owners and promote them through our social channels and email database, as well as provide them coaching. This is a free service we're providing because if every small business is healthy, then the economy is healthy. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Dr. Jerry. Dr. Jerry, it's great to have you on the program today.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for doing this interview. It's great.
Well, let's start with having you introduce yourself and tell us a little of your story.
Sure. So I'm originally from the farming state of Wisconsin. So I came from a farm family, youngest of six. Came to Indiana, though, actually about 40 years ago, and was in chiropractic practice in Richmond, Indiana for about 29 years. And then 11 years ago, 12 years ago, moved to Zionsville. Actually was going to join a colleague in practice, and at the very last minute, she and her husband returned to Southern California. So I ended up buying the practice and taking over from Dr. Amber at that time. So that was kind of a mid-season switch. Make that change and took over the practice. And so, my license is as a chiropractor, but since that time, my postgraduate education has been in homeopathy, psychology, acupuncture, kinesiology. And so really now, type of work that I do is really called being an integrative practitioner.
Okay.
And so that has been what my practice has evolved into over the years.
Fantastic. So Dr. Jerry, if I was asked you to give us a 60-second commercial of your business, what would that be?
So the 60-second commercial. So I really help aspiring men and women who, they're caught up in the rat race. And as a result of that, they're suffering from disabling, painful health conditions that come by being stuck in overdrive. So I assist in restoring their bodies and their lives. So as a result of that, they have decreased stress, they're increased energy, they're more resistant to any illnesses and disease. And this allows them to be abundantly healthy for their family, for their career, and for themselves.
Fantastic. I think we can all use with a little less stress.
Yes, this is particularly this past year, as we'll probably get into, has been top of the list for stress issues.
So Dr. Jerry, who do you serve? Who's your best client or customer? And we call that a target audience.
So these are folks that, as I say, they're caught up in the rat race, and oftentimes they're striving to be their best selves, to do well in their business lives and provide for their family. And then they find themselves caught up in a scenario where they're in overdrive. And as a result of being in overdrive, there's a fear that they'll never be without pain or fatigue or anxiousness or stress or weakness without giving up their achievements. And so these are the folks that I strive to be able to help so that they can continue to be their best selves.
Fantastic. So you mentioned this past year, what's been the greatest impact that COVID has had on your business?
Probably on the business are people who have to quarantine. They have been traced, contact traced, or maybe they've been exposed, or maybe they've tested positive. And so that's interrupted their care for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. And so there's been kind of a few waves of that, where like last November was kind of a wave where a lot of people got caught up in that. And then here in February was kind of another wave of folks. And it's kind of like interesting to see that coming, because in early part of the year, May, June, July, it was kind of like people knew of people who were exposed, and then it just kept coming closer and closer, and then finally it was people in the practice. So that's really kind of affecting the business from how the business operates. Had to move the chairs apart in the reception room so that there's the physical spacing. have
Mhm.
to do sanitation practices of the table between people, washing the skin off my hands all day long so that everything is, has good hygiene, and practice sanitation between people so that there's minimal contact and minimal exposure.
Fantastic. So sounds like you've had to do a few different things to pivot the way that you run your business to be able to make a difference during this time.
Yes, yes. And, the practice itself, like, got pretty quiet a year ago in March and April.
Mhm.
But then, because of the stress that this was creating, it actually was a busy time then in May, June, July. So it kind of had some months that were very active, other months that were a little quieter.
Mm.
Uh, but overall, it was actually, uh, you know, un- I guess unfortunately for people, their distress is my greater business.
Well, and you
So,
get rid of their stress, so that it's a win-win, right?
yes, yes. So I get to help them address their stress.
Fantastic. So, Dr. Jerry, here's an interesting question. It's been said that smart people learn from their mistakes and wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So, what mistakes have you made along the way that you'd be willing to share that could benefit other entrepreneurs from your experience?
Well, I think chasing um, the next shiny thing, and uh, I describe how, on one hand, my business has been successful and productive over here. Over here, the things I've spent money on and done that was not beneficial. And so there's always the next shiny thing that comes along. And then if I get distracted and chase that
Mm.
and find out, well, really, in the business world, it's really the foundational things. It's uh, basically connecting with, in my work, connecting with people, listening, and understanding what's going on, and then being able to serve them. I mean, so really kind of come down to the foundational elements of relationships when it comes down to it. I
And
can have you can have fancy offices, you can have shiny equipment, you can have high tech stuff, but if you're not connecting with your people, um, then you're not really going to be able to serve them.
right.
They're not really interested in the shiny things.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing that. So, second last question here, Dr. Jerry. Um, we have your contact information that I'll make sure to include when we post this. But is there anything else that we should include in this interview? Any types of offers that you have running, or how can people find out more about ways that you can help them?
So I have a website, zionsvillechiropractor.com, and then I'm happy to get on the phone with people, do a Zoom call like this, 10-minute call, and just have a conversation, answer any questions, and see if the work that I do, if we're a good fit for each other.
Okay, fantastic. I appreciate that. So, last question here is, tell us what's been most inspiring to you with all of the craziness that's happened over the past year.
Well, fundamentally, no matter what goes on outside, people have within them the ability to heal and be self-healing and self-regulating. So while they come in with problems and a whole variety of problems, they also come in with a solution already within them. And so it's really releasing that innate or inner ability to be healthy and heal. That makes all the difference. People themselves kind of chase shiny things. They
Mhm.
can try different diets. They can go to the gym or yoga or Pilates or specialized approaches, or they can go online and check with Dr. Google. Uh, but if that inner ability to be self-healing and self-regulating isn't fully expressing, all of those are going to be just temporary approaches. Now, if that self-healing, self-regulating system is working, then you can go to the gym, then you can do Pilates, then you can do yoga, and you really gain the benefit from all of those approaches. So that's kind of the secret ingredient.
Fantastic. Well, Dr. Jerry, that concludes our interview. I appreciate your time today. For those listening, if you've heard something in this interview that has piqued your interest, if you are wanting to reduce stress, please take advantage of Dr. Jerry's offer for a free consultation to learn how he operates and whether he's a good fit for you. Dr. Jerry, appreciate that, that complimentary offer that you're providing. And if anyone just in general has struggles with pivoting your business and figuring out how to excel in all these crazy times, be happy to jump on a call with you as well. I'll include that information here in this interview also. Dr. Jerry, it's been a pleasure learning about you and your business, and I wish you tremendous success.
Thank you. Thanks for the interview.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks. You too.